Можно начинать ходить. Я не хочу туда ехать сегодня.
Нет. А какую вынуть можно? Верхнюю? Да, друг, я справлюсь, не переживай. Там просто то, что боишься, что он отклеится. Так, какая?
Вот это.
Вот это.
Да.
And what's your name?
It's on the desktop.
Yes.
Все?
Так, а какая была ваша? Вот такая была, да? Тогда мы ее удаляем, она не нужна.
Да.
Все, тогда так, сейчас вашу флешку поставим. Сейчас проверим.
Да, можно ее там.
Все нормально.
Можно вот этот слайд открыть? Да, все.
Все нормально, да? Отлично. Так, тут ваша
Спасибо большое.
Да. Ой, хвостик.
Dear guests, we're waiting for some speakers coming. That's why I have a slight delay. Sorry for this, but we'll start in a few minutes.
Сейчас сзади подойти и понажимать. Он должен пойти.
Нажимать, наверное, точно.
Hello. Space available? Yeah.
Dear guests, we're finally ready to start. It's a good news. We're happy to announce the beginning of the 12th International Student Scientific and Practical Conference and welcome its participants at the Russian Presidential Academy. Let me take time to introduce myself. My name is Ekaterina Balan. I'm an expert of the International Affairs Department of the Institute, and I'm very proud to be a moderator of this plenary discussion, which I dare to believe will be very interesting, animated, and comprehensive. The conference of this year is dedicated to the digital transformation, and in particular such concepts as artificial intelligence, virtual reality, big data, Internet of Things. However, it's not limited with them. We would like the plenary discussion that sets the vector for the whole conference to be a place of arguments, give an opportunity to consider the questions from different points of view and exchange vision, ideas, and approaches. And to give the welcoming speech, we invite Ms. Natalia Demidova, Deputy Director of the Institute of Industry Management.
Thank you, Catherine. Hello, dear colleagues. I'm very happy to meet all of you and to have the opportunity to welcome you at the 12th International Scientific and Practical Student Conference. For 11 years already, the conference has served as a platform for constructive dialogue between students, experts, professors, businessmen, and practitioners of all fields. And I hope that this year, all of you will have the opportunity again to have here the place for fruitful discussion, for some openings and revelations, to form new links and new channels of communication, especially given the very topical subject you're planning to discuss. I would like to thank our experts and our friends, I hope I am able to say so, our partners, who will be the speakers of this plenary session, as well as those who are planning to work with you at the working sections. And I will be very glad to meet those of you who will be able to attend all the parts of the conference tomorrow in the second part of the day to hand over the certificates to all of you. So welcome, have a very nice time here, and good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalia, for such warm greetings and motivating words. And now we're ready to start the working program of the conference. So, digital transformation. It is a complex transformation, which results in various fields of economic activities. And as well, it results in, reflects lifestyle of a human. It is no longer about the appearance of new high-tech technologies. However, it is about the appearance of new lifestyle. So let's talk about the professions of the future. Let's talk about the professions which will evolve in the nearest future and do not exist right now. And I'm happy to invite our first expert to speak about this issue, Mr. Etienne Yanev, Global Head of Customer Content and Advocacy Marketing, Atos.
Hi everyone, I'm very pleased to be here. My name is Etienne. I'm from Sofia, from Bulgaria. I'm a digital marketeer, and that's why it's very interesting for me to talk about digital transformation. I can say from experience that digital transformation helped me a lot to find my career, to develop, to meet new friends, to stay connected with you, to be here today. All this won't be possible without the digital transformation around us. I also work for a company called Atos, which is one of the leaders in digital transformation globally. And I work for a division called Unify within Atos, which is about collaboration solutions, which is about changing the workplace, the way we work, by giving more digital means of communication, applications in the cloud, so you can work everywhere remotely. But before I jump into the more serious stuff about digital transformation, I want to give you a sense of how digital transformation started for me, like maybe 10 years ago. I started playing video games. How many of you played video games or tried? Raise your hand, please. Good. So this, in a way, is a new way of collaboration, of interaction, of entertainment, and this is definitely a digital transformation. It's a very small example, but right after the explosion of gaming, there are many professions that appeared, right? You can see there is a professional gamer, a person who plays games, going to different tournaments, winning prizes, those kind of stuff. YouTubers, streamers, digital content creators. Actually, this topic has created a lot of demand about digital content. I used to be a professional gamer just 10 years ago. I was traveling around the world, competing and playing video games, and of course meeting many friends. not only the new professions, but there is also something new that appeared right after the games. It's called gamification. How many of you know what is gamification? What does it mean? No one? Just stupid, of course. Okay, so this is, in essence, using gaming techniques in non-gaming context. For example, you go to work, and just because you are on time, you take 10 points. Just because you achieve your goals for the day, you take another 100 points. And this way, gamification, stimulates engagement, stimulates productivity. These are two examples of gamification. Not sure if you're seeing well the photo on the left. This is a bottle bank, which is created with gamification technique. And whenever you put a bottle in this bank, you earn different points. And every time there is a light above, and you need to put in the right place. So you save the environment, and at one hand, on the other hand, you're entertaining. The other example I want to share with you very quickly, I'm working with a team within Atos, and we want to, again, gamify the employee experience. I shared with you an example. So we have a system where employees take points for different activities, and we give them different tasks daily. One of the things that we want to do by using gamification, actually, is to improve the customer-centric approach. So we are asking employees to go to the customer, to visit the website, to watch some videos, to understand more about the customer, and for each activity, they earn points. So this is what is happening today, right? I'm a digital marketer, and this is actually the world I live in today. Connected devices everywhere. What car manufacturers are doing today, they're connecting the vehicles in many ways. So for example, you're driving your car, there is an accident or something is broken in your car, it directly sends a message to the manufacturer. The manufacturer directly sends you back a message with the nearest service, and you can go, and in a minute or less than a day, you can fix your car. Even there are cars today that can monitor your mood. So if you're not in the right mood, they can play you a specific music, entertain you in a way. So what I want to tell you that is today, all devices, everything around us is getting connected and is trying to improve our living standard. And not only for marketers, for us, it's important that we can deliver our messages very personalized, right on time, very customized. So it's not you just finding the advertisement and asking for something. It's we who find you based on your behaviors. How many of you believe that robots will replace us in the next 20 years, let's say? How many of you believe this one, that actually together with technologies we will be working together and technologies will work for us? Okay, I saw some people are neutral. Maybe they can say later what are their opinion. But in essence, many reports saying that actually the digital transformation is helping us today, and it will help over 60% of the jobs. What is digital transformation about? It's not about the evolution of devices. It's not about having the latest model of iPhone or any kind of device. It's about using data. These devices are collecting a lot of data about you. What are you looking for on the web? What are you doing today? What are your preferences? Which restaurants do you normally visit? All this kind of stuff, it's collected in these devices. And it's important how we use this data. And especially it's important in industries like, let's say, if you imagine a hospital collecting so much data, if we manage it properly, or we can help the patients, we can give very good service to those patients, and we can be 24 hours, 7 days a week available. Just for you to get a sense, a more feeling of how digital transformation is going today. So there will be much more connected devices. Everything you wear. Maybe some of you have smartwatches today or any other devices. So this will be growing. This is a trend today. The topic I will briefly present to you is called digital workplace, and is actually the way how we work today. How many of you are millennials? Or maybe you are younger? Okay. So normally, millennials and younger generations, they prefer a more digital workplace. They prefer to work from distance. They prefer to work from home, from any point around the world. This is what all is about, the digital workplace. And as you can see, actually, this is the VR or augmented reality or any kind of technology. So imagine you're going to your office with this and meeting with other people, or you are a new employee and they want to onboard you, and you wear these glasses and you just, have a walk in the room and understand more about the company. This is also happening today. Some people say about digital workplace that this is the equivalent of the physical workplace. Actually, this is one of the first definitions. A more recent one from Gartner saying that actually is giving some more flexibility and some modern practices of working in a digital workplace. Why digital workplace is important today? I asked you how many of you are millennials. So by 2020, a big percentage of the workforce will be consisted of millennials or Generation Z. What is important for these two generations? What is important more than the salary, more than money? This is the communication within the companies that you work for. I assume that all of you want to get instant feedback from your managers, to understand what is happening within the company, or to give, you to give feedback. So this is important for the communication. And work-life balance, this is another very important topic. I'm assuming that most of you will want to have more flexible working time, not from 9 to 6 or to 5, so to work everywhere around the world, anytime. I work, as mentioned at the beginning, I work in a division called Unify. So we offer, in essence, we offer collaboration solutions. We build digital transformation. We build digital workplaces for companies in any size. These are the types of solutions that we provide, and I'm not giving you any specific names here. I'm just giving you, the range, just to understand how digital workplace is moving today and what technology is using. Mainly video, audio, conferencing in the cloud. So I'll give you a very quick example about digital workplace. And my role within Unify, it's customer references. I'm a marketeer, and I collect success stories, and I work with companies and listen to their stories and build, different publications. And every time it's interesting to learn how companies are growing together with us. So this example is with a small pet clinic, around 20 employees. And they had a problem with communication. You can imagine we all love pets. We all want to keep them safe, to keep them healthy. And imagine you leave your pet in a clinic that is not available all the time, that has some problems with communication. And you cannot monitor what is happening with your pet. This one is in Brussels. They had this communication problem, and also they had another problem. When someone calls the company, the clinic, they need to look into the database to find what exactly is happening with this pet, or what is the history, a year ago, or for more time, and this takes a lot of time. This is very hard. In Brussels, where this pet clinic is, in Belgium, there are different spellings of the name Peters. This is a small problem, right? But every time someone calls and says, I'm Peters, and they go to the database and look for all these names just to find who this Peter is and to find the pet. And this is another difficult task for them. It was. So what we did, we have a collaboration tool. We just integrated, it's a very, very small change, and I want to show you how digital transformation shouldn't be huge and shouldn't be working with big enterprises. It's something small, it's integration. We integrated our collaboration tool with their CRM system. So what is happening today, someone calls in the clinic, it automatically brings all the history of the pet, the name, the right spelling of Peters. So they can say, hello, okay, Peters, yeah, we spoke 2 months ago. Yeah, I know about your problem. So it's more personalized. It's a huge, huge change for them. It's a big impact for them. This is what they call digital transformation. Of course, improved customer relationship, critical service anytime, and seamless communication. This is another example. I have 2 more for you. Another example, I know my colleague is working in manufacturing and will give you much more details about this. But this is a nice example. So imagine you're working in manufacturing. There are a lot of machines around you, and you don't know what is happening with every machine, right? You need to go to check with the management, to check with your colleagues what is happening. But imagine all these devices are connected with, Internet of Things, connected to Internet, and then give instantly information via Internet to a device that you can check anytime. So again, what we did, we actually, again, this collaboration tool I'm telling you about, we integrated with a system called Siemens MindSphere. It transfers that data into actionable analytics. And anytime a worker, even via mobile phone, can just ask this system, what is happening with the machine? What is the current status? And he or she can receive information anytime. And this makes a lot of impact. So these workers can work remotely. And also this collaboration tool gives them the opportunity to discuss in groups and say, okay, you're not the expert here, maybe another person should go, or we should go together. This is another big impact happening today. This is how it looks like. Not sure if actually the photo is not very good, but this is a spinning machine. This is just an example, spinning machine. And this Siemens MindSphere transferring the data about the spin, about the speed of the spinning, and this kind of information. And it goes directly to the screen above, which is actually the mobile application. It can be used on desktop, on mobile, and is using, of course, chatbot. So you type, you ask for information, and it comes directly to you. This is another slide of this case study. Of course, it gives much higher speed. It improves the reliability. It gives a lot of benefits in manufacturing today. I left this slide for the final of the presentation. It's an interesting example of Internet of Things today, and you can look. So this is happening today with actually in a Spanish airport, in a toilet, and all these stuff are connected via Internet of Things. So the staff can learn anytime when a paper is missing, when the trash bins are full, all this kind of stuff. So they don't need to go anytime. They don't need to waste any of their time for going for nothing, or to waste money, or just to improve the customer service again. And this can be used in many cases. This can be used in hospitals. This is just the example with bathrooms, of course. This can be used in any type of rooms where a critical communication is needed. So I want to tell you just a couple of things. So digital transformation should not be something huge. You can act like small steps, but acting big. Digital transformation is not for big enterprises. Digital transformation is all around us. And what I strongly recommend you to start investigating, what are the professions of the future, how your profession today can live in a digital world. So let's say in my example, how I use marketing, how I use all these data in a more digital world? Or is marketing changing in a way? So it's very common that today we speak about digital marketing, but what we will be doing with virtual reality, augmented reality, some technologies that are not used so much today, or it may take another direction, of course. And it's not, it's we who lead the technology. Don't leave the technology to lead you. So read, discuss, find opportunities. What I very much like to say that we live in the most connected world ever. Education is everywhere, connections are everywhere, opportunities are everywhere. This is the digital world today. And with this, I want to thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Mr. Yari. Are there any questions from the audience that you would like to ask right now? Are there? Yes.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. Tell me, please, what do you think? In which time the future will come? The future as Internet of Things, I mean, when it will be wide range among building, among university, for example. What do you think?
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So thank you for your question. I showed you some data that actually Internet of Things and the evolution of Internet of Things is very close, right? It can impact our life dramatically in the next 10 days. 10 years, sorry. And also 10 days because it's affecting us today as well. For me, it's very interesting about Internet of Things, and what I'm exploring in much detail is how communications are changing. This is very interesting for me. I showed you the example with the vehicle and all the connected things in the vehicle and how we can deliver information right on time. Very customized service we can give. For me, this is happening today, and maybe in the next 10 years, not 10 days, this will give us a very much a bigger impact, and all of our devices, everything that we are wearing, that we have at home, our fridge, all machines will be connected. So it's difficult to answer specifically, of course, but it is happening today, so I'm assuming it will have a greater impact.
Thank you, Mr. Yarev, and thank you for the question from the audience. So we will move forward, and we will slightly move from B2C field to B2B and manufacturing, as Mr. Yarev already mentioned. There is one crucial issue associated with using technologies in manufacturing, using robots, and all this high tech. How to reach a balance between using brand new technologies to remain at the cutting edge of the industry, and at the same time not to lose your personality, to keep your identity. That's the question that Mr. Vladimir Grebnev will expand on. We kindly invite you. Regional representative of Festa Didactic Russia.
Hi, everybody. My name is Vladimir, and I'm Russian. Basically, it's quite funny that I'm asked to speak in English, even though I'm looking at Russian faces. Yeah? Hopefully you understand my English good. Yeah? If somebody has better English, please pardon me for my pronunciation, because it's absolutely Russian. What I will tell you is about the future of industry and how does Festa as the company and me personally look at this. I think that there are many different roles that each of us play in life. Yeah. So me personally, I'm not only a person who work in specific company, but I'm also a driver. I'm also father. I'm also husband. I'm playing many different roles. Yeah. And I strongly believe that this is very important to understand in the very beginning. Yeah? That we play many roles here, and digital world that we are entering or entered already is some kind of, I would say, a very important part of our life. Yeah? So me personally, I'm not only a person who work in specific company, but I'm also a person who work in specific company. I'm also a driver. I'm also a husband. I'm playing many different roles. Yeah. And I strongly believe that this is very important to understand in the very beginning. Yeah? That we play many roles here, and digital world that we are entering or entered already is some kind of a nice connection between these many different roles, and I will tell you next why I think it is important. Okay, when I look at these pictures, you get the point, right? So when I look here, I see that something is wrong with my hair, yeah, from left to right. Yeah, I don't know why and where did it disappear. Yeah, but this is my daughter. Her name is Alexandra, and her first mobile phone she got when she was 9, and at the very beginning, it was smartphone. Yeah, easily connected with internet, and I'm sure that she is smarter than me. Absolutely smarter. Sometimes she's doing things that I cannot understand, I cannot get it. And by the way, I am 34. Many of you here are about 18, 20. Yeah? And I also think that you are smarter than me. Why? Because these people, these children, and you, sometimes I can call you children, you don't have some disappointments from the past. You don't have many regrets to be based on. Yeah? So that's why it's you who are driving the technologies and driving the new digital world ahead. In any areas, yeah? It's not about Facebook or Instagram, right? But it's all about technologies as well. Tell me, how many of you know something about these digits? Industry 1, 2, 3, 4. Just raise a hand. Some, okay. So basically, Industry 4.0 or 4.0, how they call this in English, is something that's happening today, and this terminology is coming from Germany. And the company that I work now, Festo, is also a German company. And 4.0 is actually nothing just but just a number. Yeah, and we just see that there are some steps, or maybe circles, or maybe spiral in all the technologies that move in the world. We absolutely don't know what will be next. Yeah, and it will be Industry 5.0 or whatever. Each and every country, and Russia as well, by the way, if you didn't know, we have many strategies, many documents that our economics is based on, and all the countries around the world have their own strategies with the horizon of 2030, 2035, 2050 in many areas. And what I like and what is differentiating from one country to another is, for example, in Japan. They are not talking only about cyber-physical systems or Internet of Things or networks that are part of Industry 4.0, but they call their program Society 5.0. Society, because using the new technologies, they want to change the behavior of people, yeah? Change the behavior of millions of people in the country, using technologies, and how it ends out ruling or managing the technologies and not letting technologies manage us. Yeah? And probably there's somebody here in the room who will create the new terminology for the next industry. I know. Maybe some here in the room, maybe we have a new president of a big company. Yeah? Just in case if you have a dream like that. On the left side, you definitely see these components. Yeah, so Industry 4.0, just a combination of various things, yeah, that are already created today. Yeah, from robots, from Internet of Things, from cloud computing, virtual reality, big data. Some smart people, they combine this together, call this 4.0, and that's it. Yeah, so just a number, just a combination. Yeah, and then we need to deal with this somehow. And here comes back the question not about technologies, but more about the people. Yeah, and I strongly believe that here in this room, I'm looking in some eyes. I'm trying to find the eyes that are looking at me. Yeah, I have some. I strongly believe that here we have those smart thinking managers, yeah, who will be not only connected to their social network, yeah, living in their smartphone, but they will definitely study a lot, study all the technologies a lot, living a life with this, and drive the economics and drive the society to the next levels. Yeah, if you just repeating have this kind of dream. Yeah, if you are still allow you to dream, and I think that if you are kind of 20, you still have a dream. The organization that I work in is more about technical, and when do we think of how do these new managers study, we think a lot about manufacturing. And there were times then when one engineer could come to the factory, work there for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. In 20 years, he becomes a manager, yeah, or a lead, yeah, and then he starts to, I don't know, move this factory or fabrics to the next level. Now we don't have this time to wait and to waste, actually, yeah. So we need to have new, younger managers on the top level of each and every corporate, of each and every industrial company. That's why I would love to have your management skills that you learn here in academy to add to this some more technical background. I've heard that you make the reference visits to some factories, yeah, on a yearly basis. I don't know how often it is, but the concept, what Festo is providing to any university around the world is so-called smart factories or learning factories. Basically, this is a real factory, but it produces some small work pieces. Yeah, we don't do iPhones. Yeah, we just collect 2 plastic boxes with each other. But this is a real production that can be placed in the university with many different steps there, and you can there design a product with some 3D modeling tool. You can definitely manage the production line. You can collect the data from each and every step, collecting this big data, yeah, to analyze this in a modern way, how all the new level managers should do. Yeah? Of course, if you are more interested about selling, this is a similar idea. If you have the products, you have them stored, you can calculate the economics of the deal, and you can create the budgeting models and sales strategies. It says that one fabric can be a combination of many different learning disciplines within one year, within one course, or for maybe several years. And by the way, in Russia, the only example that I have today is Skoltech. You know what is Skoltech? Yeah? Skolkovo Institute of Technologies and Science. And it is them who are first entering this market, and they incorporate these kind of learning factories to their learning process. Yeah? And actually, I will be very happy if more universities will come to this chain. Do you like Starbucks? Please raise a hand if somebody likes Starbucks. I like Starbucks. I like Starbucks. I like Starbucks a lot. Yeah, and actually, Starbucks or iPhone is still a mass product. Yeah, but the thing is that definitely we all like to feel that we are unique, right? Especially when we're young. Yeah, we want to demonstrate how unique we are. But trust me that if we are getting older, we still want to feel unique. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I usually say my name. My name is not Robert. I usually say my name. And what they do actually is that they collect this small data about me, yeah, and make me feel unique. It's unbelievable how simple it is. Yeah, collect nothing to bring biggest value. Oh, I see 2 Starbucks cups there. Yeah. What I want to tell with this is that even if we think about manufacturing of big processes or many big fabrics, like Volkswagen, for example, where they produce many cars. Still, we want to allow the customer to place the order in the way he wants to do this. And the customer needs to give us some data about what are his interests, what he is really looking for. And this is very much more important is things related to health, care, and medicine. There was a question if robots can replace us in the next, 10, 20, whatever years. I'm sure they will not replace us as people because we have feelings and they don't. But the thing is that still being equal inside, people are still different, and there are very many different medicine things that are already prepared based on the data that we can provide. For example, if you have some injury in the leg, they do some magic with computers. They scan you, and they can prepare the metal parts that replace your own bones. That fits only to you, to nobody else. And it fits you perfectly. So it means that the product is still from mass production, but it's very much connected to you. And these all, by the way, are still components of Industry 4.0. Because without 3D modeling, without big data, without robotics, it will not be possible just produce this kind of stuff. But it actually sometimes saves life and sometimes allow people to do more things in their life than they could do before. I think that some of you have seen the Scottish elevator pitch, yes? You know what is Scottish elevator? Yeah, some Scottish elevator. So, voice recognition technology in a lift in Scotland. If some of you have heard how Scottish people, what their English is like. It's Scottish. It's not English. But if we imagine that technologies are coming in our life not in a smart way, and if we just use it all around the world and don't manage where to use it and where to not, we can be in this funny situation when we can just simply not open the lift, and the lift will manage us, not we. So I really ask you to be very much precise of how you use technologies, not to be above them, but opposite, manage them. And big differentiator that we have instead of all the technologies is that can only be intelligent, like we have artificial intelligence today, but the thing is that we can take a risk, and the person that take a risk is a dreamer, is somebody who thinks that he's crazy enough to have some new idea that drives world forward, and he can take a risk and come to the dream, actually, to that target or to that goal. None of the robots can do that. This can only be done by us. So if some of you still don't have a dream, but I ask you to have a dream and to use technologies from Industry 4.0 to come to your dream, to make your dreams come true, I give you some numbers. So it was 4.0, 5.0, 6.0. These are 17 different sustainable development goals from UNESCO. You know what is UNESCO, And these are actually, I would say, fundament of many different ideas that are coming to minds of various people around the world, in every country. So if you still don't have a dream, but you're still thinking of a dream of how you are going to change the world, please look at these numbers. And everything about industry, innovation, and infrastructure is number 9. But you have much more to think of, and much more to spend your life for. With this, I thank you, And if some of you want to proceed the discussion about dreaming, please stay connected on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or wishes to discuss dreams with Vladimir Grebnev? Okay, a little bit later. So Vladimir asked a question in his presentation whether there is here any person familiar with the concept of Industry 4.0, and there must have been a few hands raised, at least a few hands raised, because we have a working section on Industry 4.0 tomorrow in the framework of a conference, and you're all welcome, and welcome to visit other sections as well. And now, following the logics of our conference, I would like to invite our fourth-year student, Tamara Ovsepian, to talk about automation of inventory management. Tamara is coming.
Thank you very much. I was the person who raised the hand when we were talking about Industry 4.0 because I am a student of Faculty of Engineering Management, and my name is Tamara. Thank you very much for having me here today because I'm not very about IT person actually, but I really believe that such conferences are very important because nowadays companies cannot survive the competition without implementing some IT tools like IoT, VR, and so on. So my topic is inventory management automation, and I'm going to reveal the topic by the case of Under Armour Russia company. And let's start with the plan of my presentation. First of all, I'm going to tell you about the relevance of the topic, then give you some theoretical framework, then explain you my case that I'm going to tell you about, and give some solutions and results and conclusion. So my purpose for today for this presentation is not to tell you about the tools that may be implemented, but to show you how these tools can make the processes in companies more effective, and that's it. So we'll start with the relevance, and to talk about it, we need to understand what is inventory management and what I'm going to tell you about. It's not only about inventory storage and warehousing, but it's more about controlling and overseeing ordering inventory and controlling the amount of product sale. So unfortunately, some companies, many companies in Russia, are not willing to implement this automated inventory management system because it's pretty expensive. But the benefits of this system and approach are really huge. First of all, it's accuracy. When we use manual systems or like Microsoft Office programs, it's really difficult to just deal with each point, with each small moments, and that's why the probability of error is really high. And implementing automated inventory management, the accuracy is increasing enormously. Also, efficiency, that the time on one procedure is decreasing up to 50%, and scalability. It means that this system, this approach grows with your company, and every business wants to grow to just generate more value, and it helps you to grow with your company. And just the company that I'm going to tell you is Under Armour Russia, and it is a worldwide known brand of sporting goods, and with its headquarters in Baltimore. In Russia, it is since 2017, presented in stores in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Yekaterinburg. And you may see that DTC, direct-to-consumer shops, wholesale, and e-commerce organizations are going to showrooms, see the samples, and write their orders. And in each step of this process, there is an enormous amount of data, which has to be organized in some way. Then these orders are sent to factories in Asia and Latin America, in our case. Then when they are produced, they are accumulated in Hong Kong hub, and then sent to XII facility in Moscow, like two ways, or or airplanes or steamers. And in 2017, this XII facility was supposed like light subversion. It means that it was just supposed to accept these bulk orders and send to the clients. But unfortunately, from the moment of placing an order to the moment when customers get their orders, passed a year, and some companies may go bankrupt, some companies may not be able to buy out the whole order, and we get stock in stores, in warehouses, and this stock has specific features like sizes, seasons, and segmentation. First of all, sizes. It means that if you have 5,000 units on stock and they are 5XL, no one will just buy it. And it's very important to organize the purchase with good size scale and seasons. In summer, no one buys winter jackets, if I'm not mistaken. And segmentation, that the right product is sold to the right channels. And there was made a research how to automate this system, and gathered some information from users about functional requirements, non-functional requirements. So easy storage, retrieval, and access should be there. Should be weekly customizable reports, constantly updated stock, user-friendly interface for this, provide figures at hand, input data validation, efficient and fast enough data provision, limited access to features, and so on. And for non-functional requirements, it should be easy to maintain in depth and scale, backup and recovery, and data security. And so the solving tools are blockchain, artificial intelligence, and different software solutions. I don't want to advertise some companies that provide these solutions, like, I don't know, SAP, no advertising. And blockchain helps really to provide the security of data and limited access to each staff member. Artificial intelligence helps to optimize these purchasing, these orders, because it may even help you to choose what color will be more fashionable in this next year. And also about warehousing, it's a great tool to cheap products, and many huge companies use these tools. Now it helps to organize the process of warehousing, like, you know, what product is in each boxes, what sizes are there, and so on. And results. So a Finnish company made a research, and it was found that inventory management helps to save up to $70,000 a year per year on labor for such large stores as Under Armour is. And for the company itself, it reduces time to capture inventory information, provides with automatically generated reports like weekly, daily, or wherever you need it. Reduce order processing time by up to 50%, and scalable soft for future adjustments. And that's it for with my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamara, and I can't resist asking Mr. Grebnev to comment on this presentation, because you were so enthusiastic when listening to this report. So I guess you have some comments.
Слышно? Actually, the most important thing for me is that I I've been looking for dreamers, and now I have some dreamers. Yeah, some dreamers in the room. Nobody was raising a hand with my question, but you are here. May I ask you a little more about blockchain? Because for me personally, this is the piece of a technology that I don't get that much. Yeah? So if you can comment on how did you use that, that will be nice. Thank you.
Okay, difficult question because, I would say that it helps, difficult to say. First of all, it helps to increase it is implemented in the like ERP system, and each operation is written in the software, and this helps to provide limited access to each of the staff members with this. I don't know, maybe when we actually this case is really relevant because I work in this company, and they are really concerned about this problem, and they are trying to implement these tools. Maybe I'll be able to explain this more precise when it is implemented in our company. Sorry. So thank you.
Thank you, Tamara and Vladimir. Now we are moving forward and would like to raise an issue of social networks. Social networks are undoubtedly a huge part of our lives, and appearing as a tool for interpersonal communication, they evolved into a professional tool for industry and cannot be ignored by industry experts, by scientists. And to expand on this topic, I would like to invite Mr. Vladimir Korovkin, Head of Research in Innovations and Digital Skolkovo.
Hello. Yeah, when I was asked to speak about big data, actually I was a bit confused because big data is a huge topic in itself. And basically the term was around since probably 2011, when McKinsey has issued a huge report about the importance of big data, and next year Gartner introduced it into its nexus of forces, saying that digital transformation is about social, mobile, cloud, and big data analytics. And what we missed probably in those 8 or 7 years that passed were the cases which could really make change. I mean, people were gathering data, people were analyzing data, but in quite a few cases, this really made some change. So I chose to speak not about, let's say, not generally about big data and what it can do for the world, but to give a specific example of a study that we did a few years ago. My school, in partnership with Center of Research in Internet and Society, just to give you an idea of what big data analytics can be used, how can big data analytics be used to really make a change in social studies, for example. This was about China, and China was a hot topic because it was 2014, and we had this pivot to the east, and we had massive change in geopolitics, and it was quite interesting to learn how people really think about China, what people do think about China. Well, a few things about terminology. Basically, we were trying to capture the actual public opinion, and with this, doing this, we came with a new methodology which was completely based on analysis of social media and using big data to do this. Just to give you some remembrance of the context, in 2014, well, we all remember the massive changes in geopolitics that happened in this year, but it was the year when we started to turn to the east, and there were quite a few meetings, summit meetings between Russian and Chinese leaders, and a few important announcements on the economic side. So what difference could we make to the traditional methods? And basically, the most traditional, the most used method of studying public opinion is a poll. You create a questionnaire, you go out to people, you make a sample, whatever sample it is, and then you ask questions like, what do you think about China? Is China a strategic and economic partner, a friendly state, economic and political rival, etc., etc., and you get percentages of people who are saying yes or no, and you make some analysis out of it. What's wrong with the polls, basically? The problem is you're asking preset questions, which implies that people think about the issues the same way that you think about the issue. And with polls, with a questionnaire, you can't skip this problem. You force people to answer the question which you think are important, but not necessarily those questions are important to people. And this applies not only to public opinion polls and politics. It's the same problem in marketing. And basically why I choose this study to show here is I think many of you are interested in marketing and marketing research. And basically whenever you go out to people and say, do you prefer Coke or versus Pepsi, you imply that people do care about. Probably they don't. Probably they don't give a damn about Coke and Pepsi and they want to drink kvass, but you force them to answer your question. So when you go out to the social media and you start to observe the actual discourse of the people, you really make a step forward in your understanding of what people do think. You see their language, you see their topics, you see their priorities, and you study all this in a very natural context. So we have made, and there are many accounts on the social media, and basically now, especially in Russia, we have the penetration which allows you to construct quite representative sample. So you can, and that's one of the fantastic sides of studying social media for marketing purposes or whatever, because constructing samples is very cheap. I mean, to question 1,000 people and to question 10,000 people is quite a massive difference in budget. To analyze 1,000 accounts and to analyze 10,000 accounts, basically no difference in terms of budgeting, time, etc., etc. You can have it statistically representative for very different groups and reach very specific groups like opinion leaders, which is very hard to do with traditional samples, questionnaires. Basically, you can, there is mechanics of how we capture data and what weights we give, and you can see that you can have quite impressive figures and with a very cheap technique. You can. We gathered almost 6 million posts. We filtered them and still we got some 52,000 posts which were related to China. And a few things we got as analytical output. You see how the topic, the importance of the topic evolves over time, which you can never get with a questionnaire, because unless you do it very frequently, which is expensive once again, but here you see how people were discussing China in relative terms. So you see some peaks, and then you start to think why there were peaks about this time. Then you have these tags of words, clouds of words, and then you have visual representation of semantics. You see what words do people use. You see how those words are related. You see what are their concepts. You can generalize the concept that people have about this or that issue. Then you have relative frequency of words and concepts, and this gives you some quantitative analysis of these, and you have lots of correlations. So yeah, we have applied grounded theory method to conceptualization of these, and to give you the summary of what was the difference between the analysis we've got and the traditional analysis you can get from sociological tools like questionnaires. Relevance. We can see the actual importance of the issue. We see those weights. And for example, when you looked at opinion polls at the time, you got the impression that China is extremely important to everybody. Everybody thinks China. When you get the actual weight of China in discourse, you see that that's not on the top of mind. It's something on the background. China was never that important as represented by opinion polls. you get the breadth of analysis. You see the whole of semantic relations. And I'll show you a few examples. You get the whole picture, not the questions that you just asked. You have the depth of analysis. You have connotations of a certain concept, and you can study it through correlations. And you have it very, very dynamic way. You can study it basically on a daily basis, which once again is very unfeasible to do with POP. Unfortunately, don't have the straight answers to straight questions. If you're used to analyzing just yes or no response, you don't get this yes or no response to the questions that are in your head. You have to reconstruct the concepts using some techniques. Basically, yes, the conclusion is you get the breadth and depth of the analysis, which was usually associated with qualitative research. And then you go and can quantify this. So it's completely new tool for studying anything, and it's fully applicable to any marketing purposes. And basically, just to give you a few examples, yes, you can analyze the frequency and you can analyze the weight. You can compare different stratas of your sample and how they react to certain events. Then this, you have text of words and semantics, once again, differentiated by stratas of your sample. And you see that when studying China, Russia is on the first place. So basically, you don't think about China, you think about Russia when you talk about Chinese relations. And yeah, Chinese media is definitely different. And then it's very interesting because when you go and analyze the discourse of opinion leaders, suddenly you study Russians' relation to China, but Ukraine is most prominent word and USA is the most prominent word. What's the relation between Ukraine and China? In theory, there is no relation, but if you get the context of that 2014, you understand once again, you get an insight that our relation, our thinking and our pivot to China was probably not really linked to many other geopolitical events. And yes, you can have a very different analysis for general public, which is much less into politics, much more into common life. I guess you can dig into the presentation. I think it will be available, so you can get some more examples from this, and you can have some quantitative analysis, as I said. Basically, yes. Basically, that's the example I wanted to show, and a few quotes that you can get, and they, once again, quite insightful. People are talking about Russia and China taming Uncle Sam's pet monkey, etc., etc. And this funny picture of Russian bear and Chinese panda cooperating in a military field. Yeah, so summing up, on the methodology side, the phenomenon of extensive expression and discussion of private source in social media opens very new venues for quantitative study of public opinion on various issues. And once again, here is a political example, politology, but basically you can do everything like this in marketing. So it doesn't impose any researcher's bias. That's the great thing about it. You don't put any bias into the research that you do, because you just make an observation, but it's quantifiable observation. And this special advantage is to possibility to quantitative study public opinion leaders, groups which were very, very difficult to reach in the traditional pools, and usually had to go there with focus groups or some other qualitative methods. It was very difficult to quantify special groups, small groups. Now you can do this. Basically, that's it. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Korovkin, for your report and for such a practical example, which brings together politology, sociology, and technologies, of course. Are there any questions from the audience to talk about big data analysis from social networks? Oh, okay. Yes, there is a question from Vladimir.
So do I get right that you think that media actually rules the world? So if we move out media, close them, for one day. Yeah? We will not have information about anything, what's happening around the world. We will not have data to analyze. So who rules, us or media?
Well, I guess the phenomenon is that you have the increasing mix basically before digital transformation, you could separate media and, let's say, private discourse. Now the big question is what you call media. Is Facebook a media? It's just a platform. Some professional media are on Facebook, but basically we value it not for reading professional news from professional media, but for reading opinion from different people, and they can be very vocal on Facebook. So, and it's a huge discussion actually in professional media. What can we do? Like 10 years ago, probably you got some event, or 20 years ago, you got some event, and it was reported only if journalists did report on this. And the photos you got were from professional photographers who got on the site, or you had no photos. Now you can be sure that the professional media will be the last to report any event. I mean, by the way, by the time they get the news, there are millions of pictures, millions of tweets, millions of reports on social media. And I was doing a project with TASS news agency, and this is a huge challenge. What's the value of TASS in the modern world? Basically, because you report which was the things which were already reported by many, many people. I think, and it's very interesting also the issue of privacy. Everybody is concerned with private data, with personal data. And if you ask people, are you scared about being spied? Yes, everybody is scared. But then people go and voluntarily post things like they put a photo of the food, they put a photo of their cat, they put a photo of the dacha, they put a photo of their partner, or whatever they can. Nobody forces them. I mean, they're ready to share this data, which is quite private, but then they're scared about violation of their privacy, which is sort of paradox. So you get very interesting transformation of the relation between public and private, personal and public, what you can offer to the world, what you prefer to keep inside. And yes, if you switch off all the media platforms in the world for a day, it will be a very interesting day indeed. Very stressful, I guess, for many people, but really interesting. I don't know who rules whom, and I don't think, well, as a social scientist, a bit of a social scientist, it's not my paradigm to analyze who rules whom, basically. I think it's a very complex set of interactions, and everybody rules everybody in a sense.
Thank you. Now we have a slight change in the schedule, and Anastasia Knyazova will report after the break. So now we would like to pay appreciation to our experts on behalf of the Institute of Industry Management for imparting valuable insights into our conference. And the Institute awards Mr. Etienne Yanev. The Institute of Industry Management awards Mr. Vladimir Grebnev. And the Institute of Industry Management awards Mr. Vladimir Korovkin. Thank you so much for your contribution and for answering the questions, asking the right question. Thank you. Now we have a coffee break, 20 minutes, and afterwards we'll talk about Internet of Things, smart city, and social responsibility of innovations.
Там тогда могут не заработать ролики, да, поэтому лучше пап. Ну, давайте мы его сейчас быстренько скинем, просто отдадим. Опять выбирался? Он отходит от всего.
Знаете, сейчас много говорят о конце опросной социологии.
Сейчас мы подожди, сейчас одну секундочку. Ну что он просто отходит. Отходит, это диско проблема. Сейчас он загрузится. У нас, ну мы можем сделать вот так. Он пока подключился.
Ну, у вас
пока быстро.
выборка. У вас, ну, то есть, как бы, если теоретически об этом
Значит, долго
может быть некое смещение.
Гигабайт висит. Куда?
Типа, людей тогда
Себе не стоит контору. Как?
Или он просто и на этот вопрос.
Спасибо большое. Я не ожидал, что даже
Так.
Вы убегаете, да?
Да.
Работаете? Мы так и предполагаем.
Нам, наверное, все, наверное.
Нет, конечно. Так, вот.
Так.
Какого рода
Какая у вас фамилия, не подскажете, пожалуйста? Все, спасибо большое.
Да, а я уже запустил.
Извини, дружище.
Спасибо большое.
Спасибо большое, до свидания.
Спасибо.
Вам спасибо.
Вы убегаете, да?
Да, я,
Мы
наверное,
вас меняем.
поеду. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо, что участвовали. Сказали. Да, у нас спикеров.
До свидания.
Все, до свидания. Спасибо, Владимир.
Сонечки нечисто.
Так, девочки, тут надо покинуть.
Первая чашка это чья?
Это... Ой, Володя. Который нет.
We continue our plenary discussion, and I'm happy to welcome experts who have just joined us and participants who joined us, if there are any new participants. And I would like to give a floor to second-year student Anastasia Knyazeva to talk about robotization of the restaurant industry. You are welcome.
So thank you for having me here today. My name is Anastasia, and I would like to tell you about robotization in the restaurant industry. Okay. So we all know that in the modern world, the technology is developing really fast, and it's becoming more advanced with every day. So we're not far from robots invading any market at this exact moment. And for that, I would like to assess the prospects of introducing robotics technology into restaurant industry. So, in terms of positives, what we have. Robots never get tired, they never get bored. They also have an outstanding memory, and they can work 24/7 to serve your guests and not even require a salary for it. Also, robots are faster than us humans in delivering food and producing it, and in certain situations, they perform with a much greater degree of accuracy and consistency, so human errors are eliminated. Also, robots can work in hostile environments like kitchen, and, well, let's see some real examples of that being introduced. So this is Spice, a fast casual restaurant which has a robotic kitchen, and they have no plans for automatization of any interactions with their guests. So owners say that robots can cure the turnover rate at their restaurant, since dirty jobs, they tend to write the most resentment among the people who come, and some tasks may be mundane for humans. That's why they decided to introduce robots, especially in the kitchen. Also, they believe that repetitive cooking of the same route of 7 meals can be draining for the chef. That's why they decided to use the machine instead of them. So also they believe that, and it's actually true, that the processes, when they're automated, they lower the prices for their guests. Therefore, one meal at this restaurant in Boston costs $7.50, and that's a price that's unheard of. So also, robots don't destroy the experience, as many of us do think of them. In this case, because people take all the interactions by themselves, well, and even though people who come to the restaurant are initially thrilled by the robotic kitchen and they want to see it, well, then they just get to eating, and it's a normal restaurant experience for them. So all the hospitality is handled by the humans still. Another example, well, this is a robotic arm, and it works as a bartender and a barista at the same time. Well, it looks just like an arm, and it's helping the restaurant a lot by reducing the prices, the labor costs for the cafe, and it's also supplemented by human staff for now. There is a special person who talks to the guests while the robot is doing all the job, and therefore that shows us how the professions are going to change in the future. We will focus more on human interactions instead of doing the same mundane, repetitive stuff. Well, I think it's a great example of people and technology working together, and the fact that robots don't create the whole experience. We still need humans in the restaurant industry, as always. So, yeah. But with these two cases, it's always humans who handle all the emotional interactions, talking to guests. But scientists started to wonder whether it is possible that we will soon have human waiters, human hostesses. Well, it's a great question whether someday robots will be capable of acquiring human-like intelligence and emotions.
and whether AI should be assigned some sort of rights in the future, but, well, there will be quite some time before that comes into the real life. And what's important now is whether we humans can develop feelings towards technology, like empathy or, in some cases, fear. So, therefore, I decided to look at how we form emotions. We know that for restaurant experience, it's really important to establish connections with your guests. That's what people come for repetitively. And, well, let's see how we do get attached to stuff. So we all know that nowadays we are quite attached to the technology we use. Some people can't even survive a day without their phone, without finding a place to charge it. But I'm talking about more complex stuff here. So empathy, it has two types, cognitive and affective one. And with the affective empathy, well, how do I say that? We have some memories of the feelings we used to have before. And when we see a person or an animal maybe showing some signs of feeling a certain way, we tend to take that emotion on us. So like if we see someone suffering or feeling pain, we tend to feel that pain too. But can we feel that towards robots? Well, it turns out that yes, because our psychology is based on that. Imagine a robot just doing its task, like opening a door, and then it fails. Normally, the robot will just repeat the task again and not care about anyone who's around it. But if we program the movement of feeling sad, like I said, beep, or maybe shrugging his shoulders, people already do understand what's happening and they sympathize with the machine. So another example I would like to talk to you about is Now. So Now is a humanoid robot, and there was an experiment conducted with 43 volunteers. Well, what they needed to do is to switch the robot off when they were asked. But the thing is, this robot pleaded for his life. Well, and out of 43 volunteers, 13 refused right away, and 30 took twice as long to decide. And most people said that, well, they felt upset at the thought that the robot didn't want to be switched off. And by considering to follow its requests, they already considered it to be something more than just a machine, just a technology. They cared about it as if it was alive. So, well, about the technology, the thing is, with the restaurant industry, we need to make it appealing to humans. And another thing, despite it looking appealing, is personalization, which is a great part. We all know about McDonald's screens that are now used that can perform upsells, that can help you choose your meal deliberately. And, well, the new thing is this is a screen that is used in KFC in China. And this one actually can read your face expression. And depending on that, it reads your mood and also decides what to recommend to you. So I believe that in the nearest future, when we log into our restaurant apps, they will already know our purchasing history, our likes and dislikes. They will also judge us depending on how we feel today. And therefore, they will make even more precise recommendations than we have now. And to some people, that may sound a little terrifying, but I think that's a great thing in making the service more personal, more open to people. So, in conclusion, I would like to focus on the positives and negatives on introducing robots in the restaurant industry. So, on the positive side of things, we have speed, the consistency of doing repetitive tasks, its memory, and of course the lower costs, which are really important for the industry. Also, robots are more accurate in doing certain tasks, more hygienic. A lot of people care about germs not getting into their food, so for restaurant industry that's quite important. And there will be no fraud in your restaurant. You can't just expect such thing from a machine you're using. But there are also negative sides, unfortunately, and robots are not adapted to unexpected situations, which happen a lot in the restaurant industry. Like, for example, if a guest needs something that's out of the menu, the robot won't serve him. Well, also, a lot of people care about the lack of hospitality in a machine because they can't really feel empathy now. And it's hard for people to interact with them because they think that it's sort of pretend technology, pretending to be human, pretending to be caring. Well, another thing is further unemployment, which scares a lot of people, but I don't believe that that will be a huge thing because robots and people can work successfully together without robots replacing us. And, well, a great thing is that robots are not flexible in terms of standards. Like, imagine a person who came to a restaurant in desperate need of a bouquet, but, well, your restaurant closes at 6 and it's 6:01. So the robot would just close the door in front of you and lose probably a great guest. Well, and another thing is robots are really applicable to fast food chains, but they are not a thing for high-end restaurants, in my opinion. It's just the experience that people are coming for. You can't really say how much do you need to wait at a high-end restaurant for your food to arrive. In fast food, it's obvious, the faster the better, but in this case, people come there to sit, to discuss, to have the experience of being in these high-end restaurants. And depending on how long they wait, they expect more from the food they will get. So yeah. And also, robots are judged a lot now for the lack of creativity, so we can't have robots as our head chefs, as our managers, because creativity is something that's only present in humans for now. Well, so our industry is changing and the world around us is changing rapidly. And so no matter if we want that to be so or not, we will have to adapt. And I think that in hospitality industry, when we are so keen on slashing costs, on increasing profits, our further automation is inevitable. So, well, I think that we will need to adapt to the changing world around us and hope we will have a great future ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. Are there any questions? Yes. Oh, you're so far. Just a second. We will give you a microphone.
Thank you very much. For now, this technology is quite expensive, but in many countries, for now, the labor cost is quite small, and the implementation of robotics in hospitality will quite difficult for them. So how do you think, how much time it will take to implement robotics in hospitality and restaurants especially? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I believe that it depends a lot on the country we are talking about. In China, a lot of technologies are already implemented in restaurants, and we do have robot waiters. What I believe is that with many countries, there will still be parts of more conservative people that will look for restaurants with humans working in them. It's just the question of our psychology. Some people are ready to accept it, some are not. But I think that within 20 years, we will already have most of the automatization technology introduced. I'm not talking about robots working as hostesses or waiters, but the processes at the kitchen, new technology, and the electronic menus, with augmented reality. That will become a thing. Thank you.
Thank you. And may I also ask a question? Yeah. You were talking about robots and expressions of communication, interaction with robots. So did you have a chance to interact with our promo bot, Grisha, as an entrance?
Yeah.
What were your impressions?
that was really nice to see it there. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Yeah.
So the impression is good, but he's still studying, so he will be smarter.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anastasia. We keep on discussing the digital transformation, its threats, benefits, and challenges. And I would like to talk about one of the issues associated with this. It is widely discussed that mankind is on the verge of a fourth industrial revolution. And one of the triggers of this will be the Internet of Things. So I've heard one phrase recently, very short, but to my mind very comprehensive. What is Internet of Things? It is about networks, it is about devices, and it is about data. But it is very short, and I would like to ask our expert, Mr. Alexeyenko, to expand on this topic. Siska.
Hi everybody. Quite interesting presentation before my turn, and I can say that robotics in real life has more potential in industry, and I have a lot of concern about restaurants, hospitality itself, because you said the price is low for services which robot able to provide, but if you count the whole business case, you will find that the robot itself, the price for robot itself is too high, and it's required some additional efforts to write a program, to automate it, and you also, if count maintenance cost, you'll see that for restaurants it's just funny tools maybe, and there is no business case. So you need to keep focus on real things where the robot can really help to keep the price, to decrease the OPEX, etc. My presentation named Internet of Things unlocks the value of data because every time when we discuss about Internet of Things, we immediately jump into the data, the big data, the analytics, etc. So I prefer to start my presentation with a small video, and I hope that you will got everything.
Вот кошка, которая выпила все молоко.
Sorry for Russian.
Которая прыгнула на женщину, которая сварила кофе.
Brew coffee.
От которого проснулся мужчина, который опоздал на работу и поехал на автомобиле.
Driverless mode engaged.
Который нашел место для парковки.
Find parking space.
Parking spot found.
Откуда был отправлен сигнал двери, которая открыла центр управления. Который обеспечил защиту данных, с помощью которых работали турбины, которые снабдили энергией оросители, которые полили траву, которую съела корова, которая дала молоко, которая отправилась в магазин, который напомнил мужчине купить молоко, которая наила девочка, которая очень любила кошку, которая выпила все молоко. Технология всеобъемлющего интернета меняет все вокруг. Cisco. Завтра начинается здесь.
So it's quite a funny clip because I want to highlight that everything which we talk about, Internet of Things, digital transformation, is around us. And if we look at stuff which from consumer side, our gadgets, smartphones, smartwatches, etc., everything already smart, and we are touching this every day, every time, and this really helped to transform our life and bring the new services. And again, IoT, Internet of Things, is always about data. One simple example, which I guess you already know taxi business. So a few years ago, we don't have any applications. We don't have possibility to track our driver and check the price, etc. So we just call to taxi services and request the car. Right now, it's easy. We can choose a different price, a different car. Even we can choose a different driver, and it's really easy. It's provide a new kind of service, and again, it's finally decrease the price for us. So IoT and data itself help to build a new type of services. And for enterprise customers, it's important as well, because the enterprise customers trying to keep their cost, trying to build a new type of services, trying to decrease OPEX, trying to find the way how to make investment in the future based on data. And it's really important because during the digital transformation, every customer is trying to get more data, put more analysis, and get the value of this data. If we look at a simple scheme, first of all, we need to connect some things. It could be a robot, it could be industrial machine, it could be a small execution system, maybe some controller, etc. Grabs this data, analyze it, and brings this data to right application, and this application produce some business outcomes finally. Because everything which we can observe on current market is trying to focus on business and business case which can be bring by new technologies which implemented in a production environment. But if you look at the real world, we are touching a lot of different things, a lot of different application, and we can get the data, analyze it, and get the different value from the same data. And if we make step back, we can see that it's really all real things distributed, and application distributed as well, and that's why this bring to us major challenges. First, challenges touching with the complexity of connectivity, because there are a lot of protocols, there are a lot of type of physical connectivity, a lot of things how to get this data. Even if you look at the current situation in our industrial area in Russia, we have a lot of machines, we have a lot of tools without any smart things. So we're not able to get anything right now. And that's why if we implement on top of these tools some small smart things like sensors, like controllers, etc., we immediately able to get the data from them and get some value. We can get details and information how the things works, what's the current situation, current status, etc. So complexity of connectivity is a major issue, and the first things when we start implementing any Internet of Things project is touching connectivity. So even if we want to take control from robot on industrial area, we need to connect this robot to a network. We need to start getting the data from them. In the real world, again, a lot of data remains locked inside its sources, because it's a lack of technical possibility, it's a lack of maybe design and the architecture of existing solutions. So if we trying to find the way, we need to understand how we can grab the data, how we can analyze the data, and where we should implement the analytic stuff. Again, right now, all of these challenges already resolved. So our company and another IT company bring on the table the solutions. But I want to highlight that no one on the market not able to cover end-to-end IoT projects, because if we look at from a low level where we need to work with sensors, with endpoints, we need to resolve step by step all these challenges. And if we talk about Cisco, we're able to get the data from a low level, we can bring the data, but we don't touch in right now any analytic stuff, any tools which are able to present the data. So we are working on the middle level. And in partnering with our technology companies, we are able to cover the whole things, but again, no one on the market not able to cover end-to-end solution. What really important for Internet of Things right now? First of all, I want to highlight the low level. To put analysis and grab some value from the data, we need to work with a new type of way with analytics. What that means? Previously, maybe 1-2 years ago, everybody on the market said, okay, please grab the data to a cloud and put the analytics stuff in a cloud. Everything should be connected to a cloud. It's a good thing, but when we start connecting a lot of things, we immediately face the issue with bandwidth, with different type of data, etc. So it's bringing to a market new way of technique how to analyze the data. Right now it's named edge computing. Previously it was a word which named fog computing, but it's really, really important because we start analyzing everything as close as we can to a source of the data. So even example from the real life. So we can use our smartphones and some data analyzing on a smartphone itself. So we can check the parameters, we can check, we can transform some parameters in a good manner and send this to a cloud services. But this task resolved on a smartphone itself. If we look at industries, our company focus on different verticals. First of all, manufacturing. And Anastasia explains that robots and robotics, I guess manufacturing, automotive, even logistic warehouse, able to bring more value for robotics. Because if you're trying to look at the whole market, right now in Japan, we have a good example where the robot produce the robot. So we have a good technology partner which named Fanuc, the industrial leader for robots, and their plants is totally automated. No people across the plant. There's just a few people in control center which observes the whole situation on the manufacturing plant. The same story in oil and gas industry, where a digital refinery fully automated. Digital pipeline. So it's always, we talk about automation and our customers trying to reduce the people in dangerous areas, in even in areas where already fully automated. Smart city is a good example, and it is a hot topic for Russia because we have a lot of initiatives on a government level how to bring a new type of services, how to refresh the cities and build our city more comfortable. So I have one additional video after this slide explaining what kind of services can be implemented in the city and how it's changed our life. Transportation is another good example, and again, taxi, logistic, etc. So already transforming using the Internet of Things tools. Before I present the video, I want to highlight some key basic things for IoT in manufacturing. First of all, right now we have a lot of things which should be connected in manufacturing plant. So approximately 5 million CNC machines, industrial machines and robots already installed. But most of them are still disconnected. And when we try to connect the industrial machine to a network and grab the data, we're able to produce the new wave of services. So even in our Russian market, we have a few customers who start thinking about new type of services like connected robot, where they share the OpEx with end customer. So they provide the robot for temporary usage, and their end customer pay only for the time when the robot works. So it's example when we start thinking about data and digital transformation, we can bring something new. Again, for IoT in manufacturing, we have some basic goals. First of all, reducing downtime. For a lot of, for some kind of verticals like automotive, it's really, really hot topic, because if the production line stopped, we immediately got a lot of things which should be stopped immediately as a back end of the plant. That's why the cost of downtime is too high. In chemical industry, the same situation. In some cases, 1 minute of downtime costs approximately $50,000 US. So it's too high, and that's why our customers trying to check everything on the production line to reduce downtime. Reduction in defects, and it's very important things, because it's a way how we can decrease the OpEx and make more efficient production. Energy usage is another hot topic for some industries, especially in metal steel industry, because even in Russia we have a really low price for electricity. If we take control on electricity and electricity usage, we're able to control the price of the final stuff which we produce. That's why if we check everything on the whole chain of production line, we can see the whole cost of product. So this target numbers which our customer put in as the goals, and I can say that we have our company have international experience, but in Russia the first deployments in this area bring even more results, because we are starting from a, let's say, ground level. Our customers in some cases doesn't have any automated tools, and everything which we're able to bring to them right now got a really bright results and even bigger numbers. So if we simplify the whole scheme, I want to highlight for some basic stuff. So we can connect endpoints, we connect robots, we can grab the data, analyze this data on the factory floor, and when we bring this data to a private cloud or public cloud, we able to get some interesting information about what our tools and robots do during the day operation, what errors happened, what is the efficiency of their operation, how the operator interact with the robots, etc. So it's quite a big list of possibility which can be analyzed and get the real business outcomes for our end customers. As an example, I put on a slide a few diagram where we can see the vibration control of industrial machine and some utilization snapshots for the operations. This data able to put some transparency from management team to production line. And finally, I want to present a short video about smart city area.
Here in Hamburg, they have all the ingredients for the Internet of Everything. They have a great infrastructure and one network. They're very well known around the world as the second largest port in Europe. Perhaps they're going to be the first. The port of Hamburg is one of the economic strength. 10,000 ships a year come in and go out. They have one network for collaboration, connecting people, process, data, and things.
The Internet of Everything is the critical enabler for the future.
In that partnership between Hamburg and Cisco, there is a revolution coming, a digital revolution.
Hamburg is very keen with the smart city concept to improve quality of life for the citizens, but also to create an environment where they can stimulate innovation, generate economic value and competitive advantage.
The concept of smart city will really help the citizens having a better quality of life. Information coming from the detectors which are embedded on the streets could be sent directly to the center so that the port road management operator could really monitor traffic flow and could take reaction in a proper manner.
We connect moving bridges with traffic management to increase the traffic flow in the port. When a ship is coming, the bridge will open. You can reroute the traffic to another road.
I think that Hamburg is really going to develop as a metropolis.
We have the challenge to get more containers through the port of Hamburg. The technology is the main enabler for this opportunity.
We have GPS sensors in this container terminal. This kind of smart control operations could really optimize workflows and capacities.
With Hafen City, we are developing the most important inner city project. It is expanding Hamburg by roughly 40%. We are trying to increase the efficiency of car use and of other devices of individual mobility.
We have sensoring spots on the parking lots, so you get directly on your smartphone if the parking slot is already occupied. The smart city initiatives really help the operations in the city.
Hamburg can act as a stimulator for cities in Germany and across Europe to come up with a similar innovation and have leaders stepping up to drive the concept of Internet of Everything and the digitalization of their business.
We make a contract with Cisco in mobility, in infrastructure. I'm quite happy and a bit proud that we are in a partnership with Cisco, and it is important for both of us.
So, tomorrow starts here. Again, we are living in an interesting world, and I can say that in Moscow, a lot of things already implemented. even you're not aware about infrastructure which already deployed and we just use these services like parking, like traffic control, etc. But you should realize that our government put a lot of efforts and massive investment in digital area, and Moscow right now, I can say that maybe one of the top digital cities in the world. So we can compare with some city in Europe, in US, in Asia, but some basic things about infrastructure, about public safety and security, about traffic control, intelligent transportation system in Moscow implemented on a highest level. So that's everything what I want to explain to you in IoT. IoT everywhere, and let's use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sayenko, for your presentation and for your comment and reference to the students' report, which is very valuable. And we will be grateful should you also comment on the further reports, which will be devoted to Internet of Things as well and smart city. Thank you. Are there any questions?
I have. And thank you very much for your presentation. And I have two questions. And the Internet of Things have a little dark side. When a lot of things with digital transportation data to the cloud, it's a lot of personal data from us. And everything we are go to the cloud, and so all our personal data, so maybe in wrong hands, especially when this is on rule makers, and we know then our government want to prohibit VPN, so it may be dangerous for us as a personal. So maybe do Cisco know the efficient technology to share data, personal data from the transportation team, and if I don't want to share my data, so close it. And a second, maybe more technological question is, we know our way today is go to the cloud. Maybe after we go to the cloud, we go back to the edge computing. Do you, Cisco, have the sample of edge computer as a future? I mean, there is a lot of devices, maybe personal, that provide analysis data, the draft data from the all devices. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions. For the first question about security and personal data, it's I realize that it's more sensitive question for everybody if we talk about consumer area and consumer services. And first things that we need to rethink how we interact with the things around us, where we put some information and provide this information outside. So it's first we need to be careful where we store the data and how we can provide our personal data outside. From a technical side, it's really easy to separate the data, and in some cases for analytic purpose, we remove personal information and provide just data set which brings some intelligent and maybe some value for us. as an example, in a medical and healthcare industry, to build some digital tool for analyzing the screenshots, or maybe for analyzing our personal data, we need to collect a lot of data from a different people without any personal information. So we can divide into two things and analyze only data without any personal information. In Russia and in other countries in Europe, we have strong requirements how to keep safety for a data with personal information. So it's really regulated, and our customer take care about the personal information which they able to store. On top of that, I want to highlight that as a basic thing for a modern IoT technical solution, security already inside. So we talk about end-to-end security without any possibility how to replicate the endpoint and provide the wrong data. So, and provide maybe unauthorized access to the data. So it's already inside the technology, and we can be sure that the data from point A to point B will transfer without any inspection and changing.
Just a second, we'll give you a microphone. Sorry, a bit later.
Okay, can I speak? So, do you collaborate with any hotel chains installing some equipment, a smart room, something like that? Because most of the students are here from hospitality industry, studying hotel and restaurant business, so it will be quite interesting for them.
Sure, because as an IT company, we are working with different customers, and we have a lot of customers in hospitality industry. So, but in some cases, IoT and new technologies should be applied in a really smart manner. So if we see some outcomes, if we see a business case, we can able pilot, analyze the result, and scale. So usually the scheme for IoT projects is quite simple. Small pilot, grab the data, analyze the data, receive some outcomes, and then decide, do we implement it or not. Usually it's discussion, because we have a practice where we organize workshops where our customers bring on the table their needs, maybe some issues, some requirements, and together we, with our technical knowledge, we are trying to find the solution. We propose different solutions, and then we bring the pilot. After that, we define which technology would be more efficient, and again, everything about money, and that's why we need to have a strong business case. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Just a dream, and in some cases, wow effect for some political stuff, but in the real world, for a scale deployment, we need to have a strong business case.
Thank you.
I want to finish with the answer on the previous questions.
I fully agree with you about if you have end-to-end transmission data, it's secure. But in our country, maybe not only in our country, there is a DPI system, deep packet inspection, that there is one more.
Sorry, could you please talk a little bit louder?
Okay, we have a DPI system that maybe stop the security.
From a technical side, everything possible. So we are able to bring the technology which take control for all streams of data, even if the streams of data encrypted. We're able to analyze it and implementing some intelligent stuff, detect the part of data which can bring the authorized access or maybe destroy the data. So every time when we look at the whole project, we need to be sure that we choose the right architecture and we choose the right thing to control the data. So it's really a sensitive question, and it's required some technical knowledge, practice, and let's say smart way of thinking.
Thank you.
Thank you. One more question.
Thank you. So it's a Cisco sensible to the healthy problem that the over exposure of electronic waves, Internet of Things, will impact on the public health. It's many parliaments in the world are talking about this issue. Thank you.
Again, Cisco has a lot of experience in networking. And of course, especially in IoT era, we have a good practice for connecting everything, collecting the data, transform the data, and bring this data to right application to produce some business value for our end customers. And outside of Russia, we have a few interesting deployments where we, for our end customers, grab the data and store in our data centers and provide this data to different consumers. It's use case for company GM, where we connect approximately 6,000 robots and provides data back to GM itself to take high-level view for all production lines, and at the same time we send this data to FANUC to analyze and provide predictive maintenance services. So from a technical side, a lot of things already developed, and even pilots, we have a lot of pilots and a lot of deployments in real cases. And I think that Cisco able to covering everything on the digital transformation right now from infrastructure part. So I'm not sure if I provide the right answer on your question, but again, nobody on the market, Cisco, IBM, Oracle, and other big companies, IT companies, not able to cover everything end to end. So IoT world and IoT projects always collaboration of big players and with small players, and that's why for our local activity in Russia, we open for any type of initiatives from a startup, from even from a student teams, to put some additional modules, maybe some applications on top of our solution, because we together able to get the right interesting application or services to our customers. So.
Thank you so much. And it is very representative that the topic of the Internet of Things resulted in a discussion. And following up, I would like to say Things and give the floor to you students who will continue the topic of the Internet of Things. This will be Susanna Danielian and Daria Nikolaeva, the third-year students, and who will talk about implementation of the Internet of Things in Russia. This topic has been already raised by Mr. Alexeyenko.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for coming, and let us introduce ourselves. We are the third-year students of the Faculty of Engineering Management, Danielian Susanna and Nikolaeva Daria. Our purpose today is to introduce you to the process of the IoT implementation and development in Russia. So we are going to develop 4 main points. First, what the key technological trends are. Second, we'll compare global and Russian IoT market. Third, we'll discuss the latest Russian IoT projects. And fourth, what opportunities and threats there are in Russia. So if you have any questions, we would be grateful if you could leave them until the end of the presentation.
We would like to begin with some general information about the IoT in the world to draw a clear picture of this system. As you know, IoT includes such things as smart watches, smart fridges, driverless cars, health monitors, and the like. Many countries around the world develop smart city technologies, which has enabled more efficient management of energy consumption and vehicle traffic. So the Internet of Things has the potential to push digitalization to a new level. The expansion of IoT has been driven by 4 key technological trends. Computing has become less expensive, including processors, memory, and data storage systems. Data transmission has become more affordable. Thanks to big data and cloud technology, flexible systems for storing and analyzing data now have more capacity to cope with the ever-increasing amounts of data. The number of connected devices is rapidly growing. So we can see that there are favorable conditions for the implementation of IoT around the world, and this sphere has every chance of successful development.
Let's now speak about IoT in Russia in more detail. Well, the Internet of Things ecosystem is growing on the back of economic recovery of the country, along with a huge investment in manufacturing sector and smart infrastructure. As we know, the Russian IoT market is expected to reach $980 million by 2020. The advancement in communication technology and a rise in digitalization of businesses and systems in Russia will cause the market growth. So, moreover, the private and government agencies are adopting innovative technologies which will increase the demand for the Russian market.
On this slide, you can see the comparison of Russian and global IoT market, which is presented in numbers. As we can see, Russia occupies a very small share in the global market. While the size of the Russian market is equal to millions, the global market reaches billions. Nevertheless, the number of connected devices, the profit from the implementation, and the market size are growing to increase every year. This allows us to conclude that IoT is developing rather quickly, both in Russia and in the world market. Day by day, we are getting closer to the world of innovative systems.
Well, now let's move on to the next thing. We are going to tell you about how to apply the IoT in real business in Russia. So, as you can see, in Russia, many different businesses use their IoT technologies in various ways, in monitoring, optimizing, controlling, analyzing, and even in automating processes. Of course, some successful projects have already appeared on the Russian IoT market. Here are 2 of them.
The first project is Go+. This project allows you to combine various devices operating in the IoT format. The main objective is to unite people's hands when choosing devices and help to expand their functionality. For example, if you connect a service for tracking cars and motorcycles with a crash sensor that reports an accident, the service will automatically call the ambulance and transmit the coordinates of the accident site. The best conclusion we can make is that Go Plus makes it possible to save more people at the time of the accident. In addition, the platform can serve as a good tool for businesses. Companies will have the opportunity to create their own client services.
The next project is XII. This is a technological startup that develops a mobile robot with an advanced navigation system for monitoring apartments, country houses, and office space. So the robot independently travels around the premises and draws his plan map. There are temperature, humidity, and smoke sensors on the robot, and also there is a water leakage sensor. Also, this robot can cut consumer costs and help to simplify the process of use. So, after analyzing the context of IoT technologies in Russia, we have defined some opportunities and threats. So, let us introduce it to you.
Firstly, we'd like to name some opportunities that IoT can bring, and here they are. New goods and services, quality improvement for existing products and services, and cost reduction.
In spite of all the benefits being mentioned, there are certain threats. The threats faced by both consumers and producers of new technology can be grouped into several categories.
First threat is cybersecurity. For customers and consumers alike, cybersecurity is one of the most serious threats. These kind of threats can affect urban infrastructure, private homes and flats, or even entire production facility are expected to prevent the growth of the Russian IoT market during 2016-2023. Security systems need to keep pace with technological innovation. As a result, however, these IoT solutions could become more expensive and less market-ready.
The next one is legal threats. So the IoT in Russia lacks an appropriate legal framework, including data protection, privacy rights, and the presence of barriers to the introduction of new technologies in Russia. So it's obvious that new laws should be developed as soon as possible.
And last but not least, lack of standards. Technology standardization poses yet another barrier. The government needs to make a systematic effort to update technology standards and protocols in order to achieve better results. So far, this hasn't happened.
As we can see, the Internet of Things covers many areas of our life and helps to cut costs and, of course, achieve unprecedented productivity. However, the issue of privacy concerns is still open and not fully developed, and of course, it's obvious that IoT technologies need to be standardized and new laws should be drafted. So that covers out the last point.
To sum up, we can already observe the emergence of smart cars, cities, and other objects. Now the IoT is at the stage of infrastructure formation, and its limits of applicability are gradually expanding. The IoT has lots of advantages. This technology is able to solve most problems that we face daily, offering unique solutions. Even though this system still has unsolved issues, we are sure that they will be solved soon, and all obstacles to its full application in Russia will be overcome.
Well, finally, we would like to finish off by saying thank you all very much for your attention and interest, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Are there any questions from the audience or maybe from experts? No? Okay. Thank you, Daria and Susanna. And moving forward, we have already we have already raised the question of ethics side of digital transformation before the break. And one of the features of ethics is social responsibility of innovations. I would like to give the floor to Ms. Evgenia Chestova, Corporate Social Responsibility Head of Wimpelcom Beeline. And the speaker will report in Russian language. Please welcome. Applause.
Hello, everyone. So I'm really sorry for speaking in Russian, but unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to get prepared in English. But anyway, I have integrated movies in English into my presentation. In this case, I hope it will be more comfortable to see. Anyway. Let's start. Уважаемые коллеги, я рада вас приветствовать и рада здесь находиться. Действительно, меня впечатляет тот уровень подготовки, который демонстрируют докладчики из студенческой среды. Это действительно здорово, потому что мы размышляем над темами, которые определяют и наше сегодняшнее состояние, и, в общем-то, строят наше будущее в контексте того, что мы должны размышлять о том, насколько сегодня умные технологии, в том числе smart cities, и, в общем, вся та технологическая среда, которая активно развивается и в России, и во всем мире, будет влиять на наше будущее, и насколько она будет релевантна тем социальным вызовам, которые, собственно, с одной стороны порождают, с другой стороны призваны отвечать на эти социальные вызовы. Я хотела бы немножко поговорить на эту тему. Ну, во-первых, поскольку здесь коллеги, я так понимаю, из хоспиталити-сектора, хотела рассказать немного о том, как на выставке по реабилитации в Дюссельдорфе я видела специальный девайс, который призван облегчить передвижение пожилых людей по городу в том случае, если они вдруг устали, либо с ними что-то плохо сделалось и так далее. И как это выглядело? Назывался девайс My Body, и заключался в том, что это была такой передвижной шар, который, в общем, был в достаточной степени похож на известный всем персонаж из «Звездных войн». И в случае, если этот шар сопровождал пожилого джентльмена, который вышел прогуляться, просто катился за ним. И в тот момент, когда пожилой джентльмен говорил о том, что, вы знаете, я что-то немножечко устал, шар превращался в раскладное кресло, и дальше он просто ехал автоматически, превращался в автоматическую коляску. И, безусловно, этот девайс был оснащен и кнопками безопасности, и датчиками по геолокации, и всевозможными технологиями, которые позволяют быть и в безопасности, с одной стороны, с другой стороны, чувствовать себя в достаточной степени независимо и полноценно, что очень важно для людей, которые в какой-то момент перестают ощущать свое тело в качестве достаточного и надежного друга, да, и им необходимы вспомогательные девайсы. И вот, собственно, этот джентльмен, который рассказывал, как он пользуется этим пилотным проектом, говорил, что его смущает только одна вещь в нем, это то, что встроены датчики геолокации, и его жена знает, что даже если он сказал, что он пошел на рыбалку, а в это время пошел в паб, то, в общем, тут все в достаточной степени прозрачно, и дома его ждет определенный уровень выяснения отношений. А все остальное, безусловно, это работает на то, чтобы люди воспринимали свое собственное тело как более надежное, свои собственные возможности как более стабильные, и, собственно, были интегрированы в городскую среду и в среду гостиниц, кафе, ресторанов и других общественных мест, как интегрировано очень органично для того, чтобы там было предусмотрено все для того, чтобы такие девайсы имели возможность и подзарядиться, и просто найти свое место для того, чтобы обеспечить достаточный уровень комфорта своему владельцу. И говоря о том, что мы сегодня все формируем технологическую повестку, конечно, мы говорим и компании с точки зрения бизнеса, и люди с точки зрения своего собственного опыта говорят о том, как позитивно технологии влияют на нашу жизнь. И здесь все больше и больше мы должны, наверное, говорить о тех позитивных изменениях, которые касаются в основном мобильной медицины и финансовых сервисов, которые становятся по всему миру более доступны, касаются технологий ассистивного плана, то есть тех, которые помогают людям с ограниченными возможностями, либо пожилым людям чувствовать себя более комфортно и более спокойно. И то, что касается универсального дизайна в области образования и, собственно, Smart Solutions, которые для городов и для экологических задач, которые позволяют нам всем строить более устойчивое будущее. При этом мы говорим, как бизнес, мы смотрим, конечно, на эти перспективы развития. Но как люди мы очень внимательно смотрим на те потребности и на те опасения, которые у наших потребителей вызывают развитие этих технологий. Например, возможно, вы слышали, знаете, что с 2014 года длится скандальная такая история между Apple и ФБР о том, что Apple не хочет отдавать персональные данные из смартфона террориста, с помощью которого был, собственно, с помощью этого айфона был произведен террористический акт и погибло 14 человек, в том числе дети, поскольку Apple заявляет о том, что privacy — это высшая ценность сегодняшнего мира. И вот те вопросы, которые мы с вами здесь ранее обсуждали по теме безопасности, это тоже касается возможностей и того баланса, где мы считаем, что технологии призваны обеспечивать нашу безопасность как людей, либо нашу безопасность как общества, и как мы должны решать вот такие этические коллизии, которые сами эти технологии создают. И, естественно, общество разделилось на два больших лагеря. Те, кто считает, что Apple абсолютно правы, потому что действительно персональные данные сегодня — это очень большая ценность для потребителей. И, в общем-то, мы все знаем, что конкурентное свое преимущество Apple строит именно на этой ценности. С другой стороны, мы понимаем, что вот эти персональные данные и защита в любом случае персональных данных потенциально может влиять на вот такие кейсы, как угроза безопасности, угроза, собственно, наших общественных мест и так далее. И нам всем, как отрасли, как людям, как обществу, как мировому сообществу, придется так или иначе приходить к консенсусу по этим вопросам. И это действительно большие вызовы, которые сегодня обсуждаются вот с точки зрения социальной ответственности и тех параметров устойчивого развития, о которых говорит весь мир. Я хотела бы, наверное, сделать больше акцент на тех категориях людей, которые наиболее незащищенно, наверное, себя чувствуют в наших городах, да и, в общем-то, и в сельских местностях. И если мы говорим об умных городах, то хотела бы показать некоторые наработки, которые позволяют нам обращать внимание на вот эту категорию клиентов, нам как бизнесу, и посмотреть на нашу клиентскую базу, так сказать, с непарадной стороны. Никогда наш Светлаков или Рева или кто угодно предлагает новые возможности, там, гиги для сна, да, гиги за шаги, больше интернета, музыки, фильмов и еще что-то. А когда мы обращаемся непосредственно к витальным потребностям наших клиентов. Например, пожилые люди, знаете ли вы, что каждые 3 минуты в мире диагностируется новый случай деменции, старческой деменции, когда люди теряют память, когда возникают проблемы с ориентированием в пространстве и так далее. С тем темпом, с учетом того темпа, как сегодня строятся города, это становится непреодолимой проблемой для многих пожилых людей, для того, чтобы они могли выйти куда-то в город и просто сориентироваться. Они боятся, либо они выходят, но потом не могут вернуться домой. И это касается проблемы абсолютно не их. Это касается проблемы всех нас, потому что мы с вами сегодня можем планировать свое завтра и послезавтра только с учетом того, что мы понимаем, что с нашими близкими все хорошо, что после университета вам не придется искать свою бабушку где-то в другом районе, потому что у нее память сработала так, что, в таких случаях память срабатывает так, что краткосрочное пребывание, например, 50 лет назад в каком-нибудь отдаленном районе Москвы может сегодня именно стать реальностью, и эта бабушка подумает, что именно там она и живет. А нам всем никогда не придет в голову искать ее где-нибудь там на Полежаевской, если обычно она живет на юго-западной. И вот эти все истории, они про контроль, они про безопасность, про ощущение благополучия и счастья. А сегодня в мировой среде все больше и больше говорят об этих параметрах как о необходимых условиях благополучия человека, причем в любом возрасте. Безопасность, уверенность в том, что с их близкими все в порядке, и здоровье. С одной стороны, ментальное здоровье, с другой стороны, здоровье физическое. Вот эти три параметра сегодня, несмотря на то, что технологии развиваются бешеными темпами, становятся во главу угла тех ценностей, которые волнуют клиентов, волнуют нас с вами, обычных людей. Дам небольшую адресацию к Всемирному экономическому форуму. Интересно, что в 2011 году основными параметрами, которые беспокоили людей, были экономические причины. Смогут ли они выжить, не потеряя, выжить с точки зрения экономической покупательной способности, не потеряют ли они работу вследствие вот этой роботизации, будут ли у них средства для того, чтобы воспитывать своих детей, давать им образование, обеспечивать минимальные потребности медицины. Вот это все было таким главной заботой основного массива людей в мире в 2011 году. В 2018 году на экономическом форуме рапортовали о том, что да, экономические причины по-прежнему являются одними из главных, но дополнительными барьерами и опасностями, которые выделяют для себя люди, стали угроза терроризма и экологическая безопасность. Люди понимают, что с миром происходит что-то не то, и поэтому все больше и больше локализуются в своих выборах и приобретение продуктов питания, считая их более безопасными, произведенные в той местности, где они живут, и с точки зрения медицинских препаратов. И вот эти вот угрозы во многом определяют сегодня то направление развития умных городов, которые выбирают для себя крупные страны. Это безопасность, это возможность помочь в случае чрезвычайной ситуации, и это возможность противостоять терроризму. Действительно, три глобальные причины, которые определяют развитие вот этих вот технологий. Хочу рассказать немножечко о том, какие стоят задачи перед Россией, в том числе, когда мы думаем о том, как развивать сегодня умные города, какие технологии внедрять, какие технологии будут действительно служить обществу, а не будут инновациями ради инноваций. И одна из проблем, которые сегодня действительно есть в нашей стране, это проблема большого количества потерявшихся и пропавших людей. Порядка 100 тысяч человек теряется ежегодно в России. Я не говорю о том, что все они пропадают бесследно, но обычно вот это вот количество огромное людей – это те, кто нуждается в помощи, где хотя бы кратковременно люди не знают, их ближайшие родственники не знают, где они, что с ними и что будет с ними в ближайшее время. И сегодняшние задачи, стоящие перед, по крайней мере, крупными городами, это наладить систему видеофиксации так, чтобы, с одной стороны, действительно не ущемлять права людей, которые хотят сохранить свою privacy как ценность, с другой стороны, помогать тем людям, которые потерялись и нуждаются в помощи, либо тем людям, которые ищут потерявшихся людей, а таких в нашей стране уже тоже очень много. Я говорю, конечно, о волонтерском отряде «Лиза Алерт», который, по сути, строит в России систему поиска пропавших людей и о всех тех заинтересованных сторонах, которые помогают развивать это движение, внедряют технологии, внедряют процессы, борются с законодательными ограничениями и предлагают законодательное совершенствование. И таких заинтересованных сторон все больше и больше. Мы с Лиза Алерт работаем с 2012 года, и в 2012 году мы сделали горячую линию по поиску пропавших детей. Это единственная в России горячая линия, куда можно обратиться по профильной тематике. Вот с 2012 года до сегодняшнего момента эта линия работает для всех, для приема сообщений о любом человеке, который нуждается в помощи, и на основании того, что линия стала федеральной, 8800 ее префикс, отряды Лиза Алерт появились в 46 городах России. То есть волонтерское движение людей, которым не все равно, что происходит с теми людьми, которые не могут найти свой дом, становится федеральным. Становится именно благодаря технологиям, именно благодаря тому, что экспертиза замыкается на очень понятный механизм бесплатной горячей линии, где тебе сразу же окажут поддержку, скажут, что тебе делать в первые часы после того, как ты пришел домой и вдруг обнаруживаешь, что твоя мама, пожилая бабушка или твой ребенок не вернулся из школы. Абсолютно неизвестно в системе сегодня, государственной системе, нет универсальных механизмов поиска людей в такой ситуации. Каждый раз это очень точечные механизмы, и каждый раз встает вопрос о том, что нужно строить систему. Как строить систему? Безусловно, исключительно на, во-первых, знаниях, экспертизе тех людей, которые этим занимаются искренне, а с другой стороны, на основании тех технологий, которые могут помогать. Давайте посмотрим на одну из них. Говорим об использовании дронов в поисковых мероприятиях. И, собственно, это компания Wings for All, компания, это стартап сколковский, который разработал механику того, как использовать дроны в городской среде не только для доставки пиццы, как это было, в общем, как пилотные проекты, но и для вполне понятных и очень релевантных социальных задач, как искать людей, как искать тех, кому нужна помощь, предположим, если случилась какая-то непредвиденная ситуация в плане инсульта, сердечного приступа или еще чего-то. И этот стартап разрабатывает систему мониторинга, которая проводится с помощью дронов и которые будут стоить очень и очень дешево для городов. Сейчас мы говорим в этом ролике о том, что это решение разрабатывалось для использования для нужд поиска пропавших людей, но мы столкнулись с тем, что есть законодательные ограничения, не везде пока можно летать с помощью дронов, а тем более передавать информацию, довольно много секретных объектов, либо тех объектов, к которым лучше не подлетать. Но тем не менее, это решение уже реализовано на прудах, в Москве это Борисовские пруда, в сотрудничестве с МЧС. В дрон интегрирована сим-карта, которая постоянно передает с помощью мобильного интернета данные о том, что происходит на воде. И в случае, если где-то случилось ЧП, туда очень быстро направляется спасательная лодка и спасательная операция. Бизнес-кейс, который считала эта команда, этот стартап, говорил о том, что при внедрении массово вот этих технологий в городах, они будут стоить очень-очень дешево, порядка $1 за вылет. И это решение, которое могло бы действительно изменить ситуацию в ряде серьезных проблематик. В случае, если, например, в городах, там, может быть, это не столицы будут, да, в случае, если в городах пока нет достойного уровня видеонаблюдения, которое бы действительно системно охватывало эту проблему и помогало ее решать. Ну и давайте поговорим немножечко про то, точнее, я уже сказала, забегая вперед, о том, что большое количество пожилых людей на самом деле бродит по улицам, не зная, куда им идти, и мы просто не обращаем на них внимания, а проблематика действительно очень и очень серьезная. В России 42 сейчас миллиона пенсионеров, сейчас пенсионный возраст несколько подняли, поэтому, вероятно, количество их будет снижаться за счет того, что будут продолжать люди работать и формально не относиться к теме пенсионеров. Но, тем не менее, вопрос того, что к людям такого возраста необходимо будет искать дополнительный подход и строить дополнительные городские системы, которые будут помогать им возвращаться домой, либо оказывать им моментальную помощь, когда это необходимо, это перспектива, в общем, очень близкого будущего. Для умных городов и в целом для развития любой проблематики, безусловно, важна включенность людей. Если мы говорим исключительно о технологиях, то, как правильно коллеги отмечали, есть большая опасность в том, что технологии будут работать по слишком прямым алгоритмам. Когда включается экспертиза, энтузиазм, пассионарность людей, которые хотят решать проблематику, безусловно, эти технологии, во-первых, развиваются быстрее, во-вторых, развиваются эффективно и действительно оказывают значимое влияние на построение целой системы. Сегодня Лиза Алерт совместно с операторами связи разработали систему СМС-оповещений о том, что где-то рядом с вами потерялся человек и ведутся спасательные работы. Это выглядит очень, в общем, просто, но это помогает, во-первых, сократить время на старт поисковой операции, а в случае, если потерялся ребенок, то время – это критический фактор. Во-первых, 9 из 10 погибших детей – эти гибели связаны с водой, и даже в городской среде водоемов у нас достаточное количество. К сожалению, это действительно та проблематика, которая может быть решена с помощью технологий. А вторая история, что, конечно, не хотелось бы говорить о трагических совсем вещах, но, тем не менее, это наша с вами жизнь, это реальность. Если ребенка похищают, то у ребенка действительно всего 3 часа, в течение которых он жив. Поэтому крайне важно в эти первые 3 часа, в первый час собрать как можно большее количество людей для того, чтобы эта спасательная операция и эти технологии обросли еще дополнительным интеллектом, знанием, экспертизой, для того, чтобы проблема была решена очень системно. И для того, что сегодня есть законодательные ограничения для того, чтобы просто брать и рассылать СМС о том, что посмотрите вокруг себя, вот мальчик в желтой футболке, он потерялся, и вам необходимо просто оглянуться, вдруг он где-то с вами. Сегодня этого по законодательству делать нельзя, и коллеги говорили о том, что существуют определенные барьеры в том, что недостаточно развита в этом направлении, в том числе законодательная база. Но, тем не менее, если вы зайдете на сайт Лиза Алерт и подпишитесь на эту СМС-рассылку и скажете, что окей, я готов, например, печатать просто ориентировки, либо я готов со своего мобильного телефона обзванивать больницы, либо я готов просто подвозить кого-то на автомобиле, и это тоже будет очень серьезная помощь. Вот такого рода технологии помогают нам объединять людей, вне зависимости от того, абонент какого оператора этот человек, объединять по всей России, потому что, как оказалось, именно за счет включенности в решение вот таких вот социальных проблем люди, особенно в небольших городах, начинают чувствовать вот эту свою гражданскую ответственность и свою вовлеченность в том, чтобы менять жизнь к лучшему. Конечно, базис – это возможность с помощью технологий им очень быстро дать эту возможность быть привлеченными и использовать весь свой потенциал для того, чтобы решать эту проблему вместе. Сегодня уже волонтерское движение Лиза Алерт стало самым крупным независимым волонтерским движением в России. Порядка 35 тысяч человек включилось в эту тематику, подписались на СМС-уведомления и каким-то образом принимают участие в построении этой общестрановой системы. Что еще сегодня способны делать технологии и чем занимаются наши молодые специалисты, которые приходят на работу, в частности, в Билайн, но и в Мегафон, в МТС, во все технологические компании? Они ищут в рамках своей экспертизы те возможности технологические, которые могут помогать развивать вот такого рода решения. И сегодня мы строим внутри Билайн комплексную систему по распознаванию объектов, в смысле людей, находящихся в природной среде. Как мы знаем, распознавание лиц развито достаточно хорошо, и последнее наше триумфальное чемпионат мира по футболу, в общем, показал, что система, особенно в тех городах, где проводился этот чемпионат, действительно работает очень хорошо работают технологии на распознавание лиц. Это работает действительно здорово. Но что касается потерявшихся людей, либо людей, которые, например, провели 2 суток в лесу, обычно бывает так, что люди выходят на какую-то небольшую полянку, уже абсолютно обезвоженные, обессиленные и так далее. И, как правило, очень трудно понять, где они могут находиться, особенно если у них уже сел мобильный телефон, либо они изначально его не взяли с собой. И тогда, опять же, возвращаемся к первому кейсу, вылетают на поиск дроны. После того, как дроны отснимут большое количество снимков, необходимо, как это выглядит сейчас, все эти снимки выгружаются на открытый портал, где люди, которые не поехали на поиски, просто отсматривают вручную эту историю. Сегодня мы разрабатываем систему, которая позволяет машинным зрением определять объекты с достаточно большой высоты и достаточно нестандартные, потому что это может быть просто панамка сверху, да, и машина не распознает, что это человек. Это может быть лежащий человек, накрытый там кустом каким-то, лежащим под деревом. Это очень серьезная система, которая на самом деле достаточно плохо еще развита в мире, но вот люди, которые занимаются умными технологиями, они считают своим каким-то личным вызовом строить такого рода технологии и внедрять их в рамках корпорации. И второй кейс, который я хотела бы рассказать, это кейс про то, как мы с вами относимся, но сделать некоторые прогнозы в потребностях в ассистивных устройствах в будущем. Знаете ли вы, что Россия стала второй страной в мире, которая подписала Биль о правах киборгов? Первой страной это была США, и летом 2018 года Россия как раз стала второй страной в мире. Киборги, здесь мы понимаем, собственно, не персонажей из фильмов, а людей, которые носят умные бионические протезы, либо имплантируют определенные устройства внутрь своего тела. У нас есть вице-президент, который имплантировал в кость руки нейрочип, и теперь ходит в метро и, прикладывая руку, просто расплачивается. Несколько раз он был выведен из метро, потому что, в общем, служители не очень поняли, что это за такая, да, машина в руке может быть. Но, тем не менее, тренд на то, что люди улучшают свое тело с помощью, в том числе, мобильных устройств. И мы работаем сегодня с другим технологическим стартапом под названием «Моторика», который разрабатывает бионические протезы, и мы туда имплантируем микросим-карты, которые позволяют людям, у которых ампутирована конечность, использовать эти бионические протезы и чувствовать себя совсем иначе. Если раньше, образно говоря, в школе ребенку, у которого была недоразвита рука, либо он потерял руку в какой-то аварии, ему говорили: пожалуйста, встань бочком, мы будем фотографировать класс и так далее. Это была определенная квалификация ущербности, да? Сегодня люди с такими протезами, дети с такими протезами, они представляют собой что-то сходное с Железным человеком из вселенной Марвел. И они становятся героями для своих одноклассников, они становятся людьми с супервозможностями. Почему? Потому что имплантированная сим-карта в протез может, ну, во-первых, протез очень круто выглядит, а во-вторых, этот ребенок может раздавать интернет, может оплачивать покупки касанием руки, ну и так далее. В общем, в будущем эта вся история будет развиваться и умощняться новыми технологиями. Сегодня мы развиваем не только сотрудничество с такими стартапами, которые куда-то интегрируют наши возможности, но мы активно смотрим на то, как мы можем помогать развитию телемедицины и развитию того, что называется медицинские платформы виртуальной реальности. Опять же, люди, которые получили новый бионический протез, это совершенно другая история по сравнению с тем, как это было раньше, получают новые задачи по реабилитации. Если раньше человек, например, потерял руку, то его реабилитационный процесс состоит в том, что он целый месяц складывает детские кубики и строит башенку. Сами понимаете, что в этом случае и без того достаточно удрученное моральное состояние этого человека становится еще более тяжелым, потому что, ну, в общем, теряются все надежды на то, что ты будешь как-то полноценно функционировать. Платформа виртуальной реальности, которая сегодня создается для реабилитационного процесса вот таких протезов, представляет из себя возможность, с одной стороны, врачу следить за процессом реабилитации, с другой стороны, пациенту своим бионическим протезом выполнять определенные программы, которые есть на этой платформе. А программа, в общем, довольно интересная, в стиле колонизации Марса, когда тебе нужно в соответствии с определенным твоим психологическим состоянием, в котором ты сейчас находишься, выполнять задачи в команде, и как бы понятно, что команда это виртуальная, но тем не менее это интересный и высокотехнологичный процесс, который в целом дает нам надежду на то, что в будущем процессы реабилитации, конечно, будут и более результативными и проходить в более таком, ну, не то что игровом формате, но в более позитивном формате. И сегодня вот наша задача искать такие технологии, внедрять их и давать им возможность существовать действительно на перспективу.
Евгения Михайловна, простите, мы уже немножко выбрались из графика.
Да, я уже как раз закончила.
Yeah, thank you so much, Evgenia. And I would like to ask a question myself, but unfortunately we're critically limited of time. Thank you so much for such an impressive presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, and we have one presentation left, but I suggest that we move it to tomorrow's section, because tomorrow will be a bigger audience, students. So how do you see it? If you would like to present now, or maybe tomorrow when will be many people, your colleagues? This is your decision, up to your decision. Yeah, I suggest that you present tomorrow and we will start the working section of the smart city. Okay? 10. Thank you. And to conclude the plenary discussion, we would like to grant certificates to the experts who contributed so much into their functioning of the conference. Yeah, the certificate of appreciation is granted to Mr. Alexeyenko. Thank you. And the certificate of appreciation is granted to Evgenia Chistova. Thank you so much. And I can announce that the plenary discussion has ended. Thank you. And we'll be happy to see you on the other events of the conference, masterclasses, business games, and sections. Thank you.
А вообще, ну, в смысле, они же и так были поделены.
Мария!
Может, их сертификатами